So I want to explain how your mind actually controls everything in trading. Because I was at the gym this week and I didn't think that it was possible for me to take one last rep. My mind was telling me that it was impossible. I felt this feeling in my body that I couldn't do it. But my training partner actually helped me. And then I thought, oh, my training partner is pushing the weight 50%, so now it's easy. So it felt like someone helped me and it was easy and it went up. But then my training partner told me I barely touched it, but suddenly it felt so light. And I thought it was impossible for me to take another rep. And the same is true in trading. You may think that you can't do whatever. I'm not sure what your limiting beliefs are, but it all stems from your mind, your mindset, and what you actually believe is true. I'm not telling you to be delusional. I'm just telling you that you can actually do the impossible if you believe that you're able to. So I want to talk about why I didn't take any trades this week except one trade. I recently passed phase 1 on my 10K and my 100K challenge, and I also have funded accounts, of course. So what I would have been doing earlier is I would continue to take the same amount of setups that I did in phase 1. But now I actually don't do that because all I need is 5% to pass the phase 2 and get funded on both 100K and 10K challenge. And obviously I want to reduce the amount of setups because my number one priority in this game is to make money. And my plan is with prop firms that in phase 1 I need to make 10%. I take more frequent setups and I don't care that much about that account. Then phase 2 I take less frequent setups, and then I'm funded and I have more strict risk management. So why am I telling you this? Because all my setups have an edge, and I wouldn't say that any of them are bad, but you have to ask yourself this. When I complete phase 1, I have something to lose. I have something more to lose because it's not just my initial fee, it's also the 10% I actually made. I don't want to give that 10% back to the market. I have more to lose because I already made some progress and I don't want to lose that progress. And I also know that the distance to go to get funded isn't as long. I don't need to make 10% and then 5%. I just need to make 5%. I can do that in one trade. I'm just waiting for my best opportunity to strike, and then I can make that amount of money. But once you get to a certain point, you realize how you need to look at risk management in trading, because let's say you open a position, a long position, and you see that at first it looks good. It retests your stop loss, but it doesn't hit your stop loss. Then it moves up, but then it starts to chop around, and it does so for 2 hours straight. At that point, your risk is higher, which means you have a lower probability, and you know this from your backtesting, that you have a lower probability for the trade to work out than you did when you took it. When you took the trade, you had, based on the information the market gave you, you had more conviction that it was going to work, and it was at that point, based on the information available at that point, more likely to work than 2 to 3 hours later after just shopping around. I'm not saying that it can't work, I'm just telling you the truth. Your edge is lower. But most people think that the edge is the same and that it's as likely to work as before, but the truth is it's not. Then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to risk this trade? And then it all depends on is this a funded account? Is this a 100K funded account? Is this a 400K funded account? Or is it, for example, a 10K challenge phase 1? This is something you have to ask yourself. Maybe close the trade or close some of the trade on the account you care about, maybe hold on the other account, but this is the probability you need to think in. And it's the same if you, for example, go long in NQ and it looks good at first, but then it's close to the end of the session or the end of the trading day where the market closes, and it still has a far distance to go to hit your TP, then you know that it's not likely to hit your TP and you still have to close it at the end of the session, most of you, if you're not swing trading. Then it's not even the same risk reward ratio anymore. You may have a 1-4, but now, or you may have a 1-5, but now you have a 1-3, for example. It's most likely to just hit a 3R. Then obviously you have to manage your risk accordingly, because it's not the same risk anymore. Why am I telling you all of this? Because most people know what the right thing to do is. But the issue is that you may have been waiting for 2 or 3 weeks for this A+ setup, and you really want it to work out, and you know that after you close the trade, you may have to wait for 2 or 3 weeks for your next A+ setup. I'm not talking about a setup, I'm talking about your best setup with high risk reward ratio. And for some people, they just can't accept that. They feel like it's too much waiting. They can't accept if it then goes to TP, it's too painful for them. Me personally, I have different accounts and I manage risk according to the account. So on my funded account, I may be more selective with what kind of trades I take. I may close the trade earlier or go break even earlier, but on a challenge, I may up the risk, and that's the difference. I made 10% on my 100K challenge phase 1 and passed phase 1 last week, but I didn't touch my funded account because I didn't want to take that risk on that account, and I don't regret that. But all of this stuff comes down to your confidence in your system. Let's say that you have a system that you know are giving you frequent high risk reward setups, and you actually have been making progress for several months. Then your confidence is going to be higher, and it's easier for you to wait for your best setups and be more selective and follow your plan. It's the same with everything else in life. If you are in scarcity, it's more difficult to let go, or you really want to hold on and make it work. But in trading, that's a really serious issue that you need to address, because sometimes you have to go to the root of the problem and understand that you may not have the best trading system, you may not have a solid trading strategy that you trust, and that's why a lot of people have these issues with breaking the rules, trying to take matters into their own hand and not just accepting the trade, just putting on the trade, putting the stop loss, putting the TP, and not doing too much because their system isn't good enough. Now it's starting to rain. So I'm gonna finish this video quickly and tell you that if you're struggling with not having a good trading system, trading strategy, I'm here to help you guys, and just click the link in my bio to join my Discord, and I'll give you daily market analysis, tell you what to look for, which days are good, which days you should avoid, and when they try to trap people, and I'll give you my trading strategy. If you want one-on-one coaching or to hop on a call with me, just click the Instagram link in the bio and we'll take it from there. Good luck.